Hello, Commanders, and welcome back to Elite Dangerous Journey Across the Galaxy. We are continuing on our adventure towards Beagle Point, over in the top left corner of the galaxy after having crossed all the way from the bubble over here and through the center. Let's go ahead, get off the ground, and start heading off to find our goals for this trip. We're currently working on trying to increase our exobiology rank up to Elite and make as much money as we can in the goal of hopefully grabbing ourselves a fleet carrier. So let's go ahead and head off. I do have a topic of conversation for today. One of my viewers did ask me about the upcoming ship variants and what my thoughts were on that. Suggested it as a topic of conversation, so we'll get to that here in just a moment. I do want to get off the planet, or off of this moon that we're on, and started on the next thing before we talk about that. So we have to get where we're not obscured anymore by the body. All right, I'm gonna pull ourselves up at like a 45-degree angle here, and hopefully we can get to the point where we can quickly... Wait, you have to get enough altitude to be able to either clear the body or get to the point where you can get enough speed to slingshot your way around the body. So either way, you kind of have to climb up a little bit if you want to get out of there quickly. So what we generally do is we hop into the next system, check out the system map to see if anybody has already mapped it. Then we will use our our full spectrum system scanner to see if there are any high value planets or biological signatures, and then we just kind of rinse and repeat as we go. So that's the process that we typically use. You'll be seeing a lot of that as we go, but the topic for today is the ship variants that the developers announced, a couple weeks ago. I would like to start with a disclaimer saying that I have not really spent much time following the development process, and I've also taken long breaks in the game over the years. So the perspective that I give you is not going to be based off of experience so much as it's going to be based off of what I think is a rational thought process. All right, well, there is a water world here, and it's relatively close. So let's go ahead and scan that. We're generally looking for, when we're looking for planetary scans, we're just looking for water worlds, Earth-like worlds, and ammonia worlds, because those are the highest value ones. If there are 15 or less bodies in a system, then we'll go ahead and do a detailed scan of a full scan of everything in the system, because that's a reasonable number of bodies to spend in one system, to spend time on in one system, at least as far as my metrics are concerned. So yeah, that's the thought process behind all of that. So as far as ship variants go, like I said, this is going to be my wild conjecture as far as what I think might happen. And it's based off of a little bit of reasoning and, the way my mind works. So, it's probably completely wrong, but I was asked about it, so here it is. The fact that they're coming out with 4 different ship variants, to me, says that they're probably going to be coming out with 4 highly specialized versions of different ships based off of the 4 main activities that are available in Elite Dangerous. You have combat, you have mining, you have trading, and you have exploration. Those are pretty much the 4 different things that you can do. So my knee-jerk thought process as far as what I think they're going to be coming out with is they're going to be coming out with some kind of highly specialized version of certain ships, and each one of them is going to do a different thing. So, excuse me. For example, what I think though, I don't know. Part of me thinks that given the resources required to completely revamp ships and do things like they won't even do ship interiors because of the amount of work that's going to be required to do that. So I wouldn't put it past the developers to pretty much just come out with 4 different versions of the same ship. That wouldn't surprise me if I'm perfectly honest with you, and here's why. The Python is known as sort of the second to biggest all-rounder ship. You grab a Python because it can pretty much do everything. So my intuition is telling me that the variant that they're going to be coming out with for the Python is going to be something that is highly specialized in one of the major categories of the things that you can do in the game. Probably combat, because I based off of things I saw back when I was in the forums and just the things that people say, it seems like combat is a very, and just based off of the things that they've focused on in the recent years as far as making developments for things, combat is very popular. A lot of people want to do combat, and a lot of people are going to be very happy if there's a new combat-focused ship variant out there. They're going to be very happy about that. So, you know, I'm going to put. I don't gamble, so let me change my wording there. All right, so see, you have geological up there in the top right. We're looking for biological. We want at least 2 on a single body. So if I were a betting man, I would put my money on the whatever variant they're coming out with for the Python is probably, oh, that's another water world. It's probably going to be some kind of combat ship. It's going to be heavily focused on combat, and you're going to get access to, you know, different outfitting options that are going to make you highly effective in combat. Now, like I said, I wouldn't put it past them to just come out with 4 different variants of the Python, each specializing in a different category. You could have a very highly specialized mining Python, exploration Python, trading Python. You know, I think it's unlikely. I believe it's within the realm of possibility, but I think it's unlikely because the community backlash of getting 4 versions of the same ship after everything that they've been through so far, I mean, I don't think they would be. I would hope that they're not going to be so out of touch as to do something like that. But at the same time, you know, creating 4 versions of the same ship is highly economical from a programming and business perspective. So, you know, I wouldn't put it past them to do it, but I don't think that's going to be the case. At the very least, I'm pretty sure because they chose to highlight a multi-role ship as one of the things that they're going to do ship variant on, I would imagine that other vaguely multi-role ships are probably going to be getting highly specialized variants that will allow them to do things better than they could have if you had to go on your own and try to figure out a way to make them work. So, I mean, sort of the way that the Phantom that I'm flying right now is basically a highly. I know they didn't market it as an exploration vessel, but it's basically a highly specialized exploration vessel based off of the Crate Mark II. So, I don't really know enough about most of the ships to be able to tell you which ones those are going to be and what they're going to be. But I would not be at all surprised to see them come out with one ship variant that's highly specialized in combat, one ship variant that's highly specialized in mining, another in transportation, and another in exploration. Ideally, that would be the path that they choose. Now, which ships they choose to make variants of and try to, and try to entice us with, I have absolutely no idea. I couldn't even begin to guess. Mostly because I'm not experienced enough in all of the ships to kind of balance and weigh the pros and cons of what would make sense to do something like that with. I have flown every ship in the game, but as we've got all kinds of water worlds and stuff around here. Well, we're gonna scan everything anyway because there's few enough bodies in here that it makes sense to do so. Oh, you suck! I hate it when that happens. Okay. So we're gonna have to do one more scan after we. Oh yeah. All right. So let's go get that water world, and then we'll pop back into the scanner again once we're repositioned and not right behind the star. So there are a lot of. Realistically, there's a lot of ships in the game. I know people complain about the fact that there hasn't been a new ship in a very long time, but when you look at the list of ships that are out there, there's a lot. There's a lot of ships in this game. So, you're gonna, as a player, you're gonna find the kinds of ships that you A, like to look at, B, have cockpits that you enjoy being in for extended periods of time, and then C, meet the role that you're, trying to fill. And if you're not interested in trading, then obviously none of the big bulk carrier ships are going to be anything that you fly for an extended period of time. So because there are so many ships in the game, and because I'm interested in specific things for the most part, I don't have a lot of experience in all of the ships. I have a lot of experience in a few ships. So, for example, the favorite ships that I keep in my inventory are this ship, the Crate Phantom. I have an Imperial Courier because I really like that. I really like the look of that ship, and I like the nimbleness of it. I have a Beluga, just because I think it's a cool ship, and I really wish that they would come out with an exploration variant of that. You know, and I'd like to believe that that would be on the table as far as what they're going to come out with, but, you know, they don't really seem to have any interest in messing with those anymore. I could be wrong, but I don't know. Just the way they designed it made it very clear that it was just, oh, hey, we have this cool idea. Oh, but, you know, it's only going to be this, so there you go. Let's see. What else do I have? For combat, I have a, the Federation, the big Federation one. I can't remember what it's called. I haven't flown it in a while. I've flown the Anaconda, but I have a bias against the Anaconda because they chose, there's geologicals again. I have a bias against the Anaconda because they chose to make it so overpowered in basically every category. So, yeah, I really struggle with the Anaconda. Okay, so we want to go get this guy since it's going to be worth some money. So, you know, like the point I'm trying to make is that I don't have enough experience in all of the ships, and I haven't followed the development process closely enough to be able to give you guys a reasonable guess as to what ships they're going to come out with and which ones are getting variants and, you know, anything like that. But I think it's reasonable to think that there's going to be, that each of the variants are going to specialize in a different aspect of the game, because, you know, just the fact that they're coming out with 4 variants and there's basically 4 different activities that you can do in this game. That's kind of my thought process on it. Now, what would I like to see? Well, I'd love to see a Beluga variant that allows you to get a much higher jump range. A Beluga variant that has a much bigger frame shift drive, is stripped down to the point where, you know, you can get comparable jump ranges at the very least to the Anaconda, and, you know, that kind of thing. The fact that the Anaconda itself is able to pretty much be the best, it has the second highest jump range in the game after the Diamondback Explorer, after it's fully engineered and all of that stuff. And the Beluga falls way down below that, even though, you know, a lot of the passenger missions that you can get done require you to travel immense distances, and that seems a little bit weird to me because, you know, you get these super rich people who want to be in luxury cabins, but you can only max out your jump range at, like, you know, in the 50s, whereas you get yourself in an Anaconda and you strip it down all the way, you know, you can get up into the 70s easy. I think I've seen some builds where they're up in, like, right around 80. So if we could get a if we could get a deep space version of the Beluga, I think that would be a really cool exploration focused variant of a ship, and I would love to be able to fly that around the galaxy. But the only problem with that is that you would have the same problem that you're having now with this ship, where landing is just insanely ridiculous sometimes. You get into some of these areas and you're just not able to get on the ground because of how insanely rugged the terrain is. So, you know, if they were going to come out with a version of the Beluga that allowed you to do that, I would really like to see some kind of landable fighter or something like that. I mean, I guess the general thought process is something along the lines of you land your Beluga out in a flat area and then you SRV everywhere. And, you know, I guess that would be the trade-off. But at the same time, it would be nice if we could have the ability to just not have to worry about landing so much. With the technology that these ships have, it really shouldn't be... The size of your ship should not really be the limiting factor of you being able to get on the ground where you want to get on the ground. So, I don't know. But yeah, like I said, as far as any other ship variants that they're going to be coming out with, I have absolutely no idea. I couldn't even begin to guess. You know, that's all I can really say about it. So, looks like, man, we getting water worlds after water world after water world going on right now. And there's more than one in this one as well. That's awesome. I'm not complaining. I'm like, this is awesome. We're getting all kinds of exploration money. I mean, I'd love to be seeing some biological features, but you know, man, this has a weird. Look at all these weird orbits going on. This is strange. Still no biological features, though. I'm really hoping we're going to come across something. These are all very far away, though. Yeah, that's all 16,000 light seconds away, and that's probably where most of the rest of this stuff is. So, since we can't scan everything, I'm just going to try to find the water worlds. So that one's pretty close, too. Alright. And that's just a gas giant. Let's get ourselves moving on towards the water world, then. I mean, I guess we have to fly to each one either way, so might as well just get on it. Alright, well, since this one's going to take us a couple, you know, a minute or so to get there, I will do a quick cut and get this one scanned. You guys have seen enough scans on these videos to not have to sit here and watch planetary scans. So I'm going to scan this one, then I'll head over and scan the other one, and then I'll bring you guys back when we're done scanning that and ready to move on to the next system. Alright, we are approaching the second of the water worlds. We'll get this one scanned real quick and then move on to the next system. Time flies when you're having fun, though. We're already past the 15-minute mark, so we are going to be looking for pretty much any biology at this point. Oops, get in the way. Alright, there we go. Boom, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 6. Alright, there we go. Next system.
Frameshift drive charging.
Find it. Alright, up over there. Get ourselves into the next system. So yeah, after the 15-minute mark, we're basically just looking for any biological signature. And then after the 20-minute mark, we're just going to be looking for any landable body. So it's kind of just luck of the draw at this point. Ideally, we'll hop into the next system, and there'll be a planet with all kinds of biology on it, and we can spend the last 15 minutes of the video, or the last 10 or so minutes of the video scanning stuff. But it all kind of depends on the lottery, the galactic lottery here. Alright. Oh, throttle. Uh-huh.
Fuel scooping.
Sell some fuel, get ourselves out of this part. I mean, we'll still check the full spectrum system scanner to see if there are any high-value worlds here, but...
Fuel scoop disengaged.
Yeah, nothing here. Moving on to the next one.
Frameshift drive charging.
Still want to make sure that we're only fully scanning systems that have a reasonable number of bodies in it. You can spend a lot of time scanning bodies in a single system and still end up with nothing, and your chances of finding something in a system just because there's a large number of bodies in it isn't really increased, because, you know, the chances of life being on a body are dependent on conditions, and a large number of bodies, you know, a lot of times is going to mean that either a lot of them are ice worlds, which decreases the chance of finding life on them, or they're around another star that's too far away for you to, you know, fly to in super cruise mode anyway. So it doesn't make sense to mess around with a bunch of bodies. So if we find any biology in this system, we'll definitely be going to take a look at it. In there. Some kind of gas giant. Geological. We need biological. So, not particularly helpful there. Gas giant. A lot of bodies around this one, though. Come on, give us a biological. Come on. You know you want to. You know you want to. Let's go. No! I don't think we're gonna get lucky in this system. Yeah, there's a lot of geological stuff going on in this one, but not too much in the way of, yeah. We'll see. Maybe we'll get lucky. Geological, none, and geological, and none. Ugh, just getting unlucky. We are at the 20-minute mark, though, so it's about time to start. We'll do one more system. And either way, if there's a landable planet nearby, we'll go ahead and set down.
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
So yeah, that's you know, my thoughts on the whole ship variant thing are that, you know, I imagine that they're probably going to be special. They're going to take some of the more multi-role ships and just start creating specialized versions of them, so that, you know, people who wanted to fly around in a combat version of this or an exploration version of that will have the ability to do so.
System scan complete.
Trinary system. Jump into the next one and see what we can find.
Sweeping complete. Frameshift drive charging.
But realistically, you know, we're not going to find out until, you know, the end of the year, because they're going to release these one at a time over the course of this year. So it's going to be a while before any of us really finds out. Well, I don't know. They might announce all of them, you know, relatively soon, just to keep us all interested. I don't know. They've been pretty tight on information over the years, so who knows. But then again, they have a new PR company working for them, so, you know, it seems like they're trying to make some big changes to set things right with their community. All right, I didn't lose my internet connection, did I? No, I'm still good. Must just be some server lag or something. When you sit in the jump screen like this, it's because it's having a hard time downloading the next zone.
Fuels.
Okay, a reasonable number of bodies. Get ourselves out of the star area and then scan. Well, the fact that there are no gas giants here can sometimes be a good thing when it comes to finding bodies, because it means that there aren't any. I don't know. I think it's usually a bad thing if I'm thinking about it the right way, because we mostly find biology on moons. It's very rare to find it on an actual planet. Still nothing. No features, no features. Just super unlucky. I mean, we got a lot of water worlds, but really the moneymaker in all of this is the biology. The planetary scans are almost not worth our time compared to the amount of money that you make in exobiology. All right, are any of these close by and landable? Yeah. All right, well, I guess we're gonna head over to that one and get ourselves landed. All right, there you go. So, we're gonna get ourselves onto the ground and be done with this episode. Unfortunately, we didn't find any biology, but sometimes that's just the way that it works. Sometimes the odds are in your favor, and sometimes they are not. I'm glad we were able to find some things to scan and some things to make some money in this episode, but, you know, compared to most of the biological stuff, that's peanuts. When I sold my last round of information, I made over 1 billion credits on the biological data, and then I went back and sold my planetary scan data, and it was like, I don't even know, a couple million maybe. It was like virtually nothing compared to the biological data, so kind of sucks. Really trying to find as much biological data as we can. And, you know, it's also just the fact that we're trying to level up that particular skill. We're trying to rank up that skill, so when we don't find anything, it's always slightly disappointing. Okay, I'm trying to get down here to the Terminator so we can get set down and I can say goodbye to you guys for the day. But you always got to be a little bit careful with your approaches to planets because it's easy to overspeed, slam into the arbitrary line that they placed around planets and stuff, and damage your ship. So I'm trying to avoid that as much as I can.
Orbital flight engaged.
So I'll slow down to a reasonable speed here. It's hard to tell sometimes what you need to do with the throttle to make sure you don't slam into that arbitrary border too fast. Generally, once you get below 10 kilometers a second, you're relatively safe, but even then, sometimes you can screw it up. So you just got to slowly add throttle as you slow down to maximize your approach to the planet. As I've said in the past, I'm not a huge fan of this idea that they want us to do everything manually. Everything has to require skill, or you get an automatic system that just wastes your time. That's also another philosophy. They believe that the trade-off should be that if you're not having to do it yourself, then it needs to take longer. And it's like, why? That doesn't make any sense to me. A computer that's been specialized and trained to do it should be able to do it better and faster than me. That's the whole point of automation. But whatever. That's the design philosophy of the people who made this game. Alright, so we see lots of flat ground according to the little terrain map there, but I can't land on any of it. There we go. Alright, well, hopefully you guys had lots of fun. Be sure to click that like button so the YouTube algorithm knows that you did and sends the video out to as many people as possible. The more people we get along for this journey, the more fun it's going to be, because we can discuss it in the comments and celebrate together when cool things happen. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already, so that when the next video comes out, it will show up in your video feed and you'll be able to watch it as soon as it becomes available. Channel members do get early access to all of my content, so be sure to click that join button, check out the list of features that will become available should you choose to support the channel, and decide if any of those are right for you. Again, thank you very much for your time. Hope you guys enjoyed the ride, and I will see you for the next one.